This is Peter Bailey-Wells and Michal Dwojak post-game at the Illini football spring game. The Orange team were the victors today, 44-41, and really it was mostly about the offense. They gifted the white team 34 points. But yeah, talk us through Wes Lunt. Obviously, he was the man of the hour, at least for the first half.
Well, Wes Lunt only played for the first half. He completed 17 of 26 passes for 2 touchdowns. He kind of started off slow, had a few short passes that were completed and weren't completed, but then he kind of progressed more. He kind of got into it. He had a nice 43-yard touchdown to Geronimo Allison during the second quarter. So he kind of progressed and kind of got into the mojo and kind of saw the Wes Lunt we saw at the beginning of last season.
Yeah, well, and a lot of it seemed like it was really about him just being on the same page with his receivers. Whereas if you looked at last year's spring game, he was, I think, 6 for 16.
Mm-hmm.
Really didn't do much exciting. Here he was, zipping passes across the field. He had a back shoulder fade to Allison for a touchdown. He had a 40-yard pass to Hardy. He had a 40 or so yard pass to Hardy, 40 or so yard pass to Allison. So I think that was really big. Talk about the running backs a little bit. Obviously, freshman Dre Brown goes down with an ACL tear on Thursday evening, which is the last thing the Illini wanted to hear. But someone stepped up today. Who stepped up?
Well, Henry Illini stepped up today, the junior transfer, JUCO transfer. Got to play for the Orange team. He had 16 runs, but he had 92 yards.
Yeah.
And he kind of made a presence, I guess, considering Josh didn't really play. He only ran one run for -6 yards, considering the injuries that the running backs are facing.
Yeah.
And he did kind of break away for a nice 43-yard run, and he kind of showed why he can step up even though Dre Brown is down.
Yeah, well, and we saw that really that Ferguson and Lunt were protected. Lunt only played the first half. Ferguson was only in for the first series. Those guys are locked in the starter roles, and we know what they can do. I guess really the obvious last part of the, besides the offensive line, which I think looked reasonably good.
For the people who were playing.
For the people who were playing, yeah, it's tough to talk about a group that's going to be really different in September from what it is now. But the wide receivers, and Geronimo had a big game. We talked about him a little bit. Justin Hardy as well, and then Deontay Taylor was sort of the one that popped up now after Mikey Dudek had his of course tore his ACL just over a week ago.
Right. Well, over the whole spring, Coach Cubitt and both Coach Beckman have talked about how there has to be a trust between the wide receivers and the quarterback and Lunt. And there were a lot of critics going after the offensive line. They weren't protecting him enough. But Cubitt really talked about how the wide receivers need to be there for Lunt to throw it. And all the wide receivers were there today. Justin Hardy had a nice game with 124 yards and a touchdown. And they're just all kind of coming up with the absence of Mikey Dudek until October.
A lot of questions still for the Illini, but a lot of sure things. It's the end of spring practice, the end of the spring game. A reminder, Orange 44, White 41. This has been Peter Bailey-Wells and Michal Dwojak with your daily Illini Sportscast from Memorial Stadium.